Time now for the voice of the land on the Big Play Network with your hosts, Kevin Arnold and Always Positive Jay.
We're live.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome on in to the voice of the land. I got so thrown off actually hearing Bob and Millersburg say the show name and who's on the show. Usually we don't even hear it. And I know we're not even in the studio. We don't even hear it in the studio. So thrown off, but hey, what else would it be when you got the voice of the land with Always Positive Jay, myself, Kevin Arnold, Peter Tell of Audio, our producer extraordinaire, is alongside with us as well. This is going to be a shorter edition of the show tonight. So we'll just kick things right on off. And of course, we got the news today that Kevin Love plans on signing with the Miami Heat once he clears waivers. I'm not even sure when that exactly is. I don't know if that's tomorrow at 4:00 or if that was going to be today. I don't know.
Yeah, I have no idea either.
I know that when teams buy someone out or waive a player, I think it's 2 days, but I'm not going to act like some sort of expert. You can tell what kind of prep I did for the show. We're prepping on moving already from this apartment. So, we're just jumping right in to talk about it. But I think the best place to start, Jay, is to look back at the time that Kevin Love was here, because it was from 2014, the start of the 2014-2015 season all the way until almost all the way through the 2022-2023 season. So about 9 years that Kevin Love was here, the bulk of his career being here, and he was the player that the Cavs went after when they had that number one pick. They got Andrew Wiggins. Andrew Wiggins was the piece that they used to help get Kevin Love here, pair him with Kyrie Irving, pair him with the king, the GOAT, the all-time scoring leader, LeBron James. And of course, that did help lead to a championship in 2016. He is the last remaining member of the 2016 championship team to be on the Cavs and no longer there. So now it's really that restart. We'll get into what the Cavs need to do in the second half or the after All-Star break element to get better positioning in the playoffs, what their outlook is. We'll do all of that in the last segment. But, Jay, your thoughts throughout the week, and I'm sure a bunch of thank yous to Kevin Love.
Oh, yeah, totally. I'm a big Kevin Love fan. I mean, that dude, since he's been here, I think right after we traded for him, I think he was on the trading block immediately. You never heard him complain. He always I wouldn't say always, but pretty much was always a professional. He had, after LeBron left, a little stint where he was a little unhappy there, but he got together, got back to being a professional, and started leading this young team last year. And the guy, he helped us win a championship. He was part of our big three. Kevin, let's go back to when we first got him. Did you want Kevin Love or did you want Andrew Wiggins, honestly?
I mean, having the number one pick, that was great and all, but LeBron was here. LeBron came back. So by that point, it was, you got to do everything you can to win a championship, because LeBron was then in, he left after 7 years here. Is that right? And then went 4 years in Miami. So he was already in year 12 by the time he came back. Now he's defying all the odds of what Father Time would say. And LeBron's the first one to tell you Father Time is undefeated. And yet LeBron is just continuing to be the exception to every rule moving forward. But again, at that time, it was championship or bust. You got him back. He was trying to fulfill his promise. You had to go and do everything. So I don't think I was rooting for one or the other to be here when those talks started to really come about. LeBron, of course, announced he was coming back. And then those conversations, those rumors started to swirl, but you had to wait a certain amount of time since signing Andrew Wiggins to his deal. You have to wait, I think, 30 days when you sign your draft pick to be able to trade him. So I wasn't rooting for one or the other, but I knew if they made the move for Kevin Love, they were doing exactly what we were all rooting for. Go all in, whatever that meant, whatever you felt that direction was, go do it. And that's what they did. But Kevin Love means even more than just just a championship. And yeah, I loved all the scenes with him in the Stone Cold Steve Austin shirt and kind of mimicking, which is the best form of flattery. Stone Cold Steve Austin wearing the WWE belt that they give to every championship team. Patrick Mahomes, that was kind of a weak sauce element that he did with it. Kevin Love is probably one of the more iconic ones to use that new belt and really display it and really enjoy that. But Kevin Love to the community means a lot too. If you remember when he came out and talked about mental health, mental illness, I mean, there's so many stories. And I know I saw a tweet today that he actually quote tweeted. It was either today or yesterday where a father talked about, his daughter that was dealing with that stuff. And Kevin Love not only met his daughter, but talked to her and was a big influence for how much he was speaking out on that stuff and being a major figure for that, because it's not easy to talk about those things. And it was, those times were actually helpful to me too, because I'll be open and honest about it. I deal with, working through and trying to be better with my mental health. I've gone through some of those similar issues and still deal with some of those similar issues. And I'm sure Kevin Love isn't, and no one, I don't think, ever really fully recovers, but open, honest, willing to have a conversation about it, willing to get the help. And that's a huge, huge thing. And then, of course, the he gets us element of posting all about, I'm a Clevelander forever. I blanking love this place. I'll talk more later, but Cleveland, just know I love you. This is goodbye for now, but not goodbye forever kind of thing. Like, he gets us. And that's what we're big on here. And I know he's going to Miami, but boy, the times with Kevin Love were so fun.
Oh, for sure. Like the memorable games, what was it, like 35 in the quarter or something like that?
Yeah.
He had some hell of a games. The stop, obviously, in game 7. And yeah, when we traded for him, I was all about it. Like, when he was in Minnesota and he was the number 1, he was unreal good. But when he came here, and what a lot of people don't appreciate, I think, is how he took 2 steps back. He wasn't not even the second guy. He was third fiddle and never complained about it. He did his role. He did exactly what he was supposed to do. Could he have pulled more numbers, probably, scoring-wise, at that point in his career? Yeah. But he had LeBron and Kyrie and JR, and we had all these great guys around us, and he was just, I'm going to get my boards, I'm going to shoot my threes, and I'll get my points when I can get them. And I'll always appreciate that about him a lot. And I don't think a lot of people really speak about that.
Yeah. And of course, the friendship with Jefferson, Fry,
Little Kev.
It's all those little things that we really, we remember. And yes, the championship is what helps do that. But right now, I mean, if Oscar Gonzalez I'm not saying he's going to, but if, let's say we're like 5 years, 7 years down the road and he left, but we didn't win a championship, we're still going to remember the SpongeBob thing. Like, it's something small in the grand scheme of things, but we, as sports fans here in the Midwest, in Cleveland, Ohio, as loyal as we are, the people that we really kind of take to and are good, genuine teammates, people in general, those are the little things we're going to remember. And Kevin Love is such a big piece of that. And I know that
you'll always be able to wear that dude's jersey.
Yes. And there's some people buying his jersey now that, didn't buy it at the time. And, because they probably didn't have the money, but they decided to spend a little extra because they want to remember his time here in Cleveland. And that's so cool to see. All of the love jerseys when you go to the arena, even when he's not here, is going to be tremendous. And I know that there's going to be a night that he is honored here. And it's just, it's bittersweet, but I like that back at the trade deadline when Kobe Altman said, we didn't make a move because nothing moved the needle. And he was asked, is Kevin Love a buyout candidate? And he said, we haven't even had those conversations. No one's even come to me about that from his camp. Well, that happened, but all you saw from Kevin Love was being a great teammate. His arm around Darius Garland, talking to some of the younger guys on the team on the bench, even when he wasn't playing. I know he wants to play. And You can't fault a guy for that. He wasn't producing. He wasn't helping since his thumb injury. And he fell out of the rotation. This team found what worked for them. He wasn't part of that on the floor, but he was still helping off. And yeah, that's a huge loss. But I can't fault a guy for wanting to go play and taking this step. I think that there's no ill will between anybody because he's reposting everything the Cavs are posting on social media. So I don't think there's any ill will. Real quick, if I were to ask you right now, Jay, before we hit break, Kobe Altman said his jersey will be retired. Do you think he should have his jersey retired here in Cleveland?
Absolutely. I'm pretty stout to that one too. And I could hear the other side. But like I said, that dude, he was part of the big three that won a championship and first one in this city, and I don't know how long. If I could, I'd retire every jersey, and I'd put every. I don't know if I retire their numbers, but that whole team, I'd have their jerseys in that rafter. Like that championship means that much to me.
I mean, I wouldn't say every player, and that's a different conversation for another day when we have
maybe a bit of a exaggeration, but
yeah,
at least
but
starting five.
I understand what you're saying. I mean, there's going to be a lot of nights for a lot of those guys, whether they're together or individual, similar to what Andy Varejao got. He didn't have his number retired, but he got commemorated. He has a job in the organization again because he loves it here and wants to be connected with this organization. I think earlier in the week, I may have said, and from a basketball standpoint, I think I was naive, and I don't know why I closed my mind off to it. I said, no, he shouldn't. But again, I was looking at it strictly from basketball senses, and he's probably gonna be a Hall of Famer, but just letting my mind actually think and absorb everything he did here and what I just talked about off the floor and along with on the floor, that's a guy that when you go in the arena, you want to remember and you want to look up and see that number up in the rafters. And I'm sure time will heal all wounds, and I'm sure we'll see a number 2 up there at some point. The number 23 is definitely going up there, probably as soon as that guy retires, whenever that is. But I think as I've thought about it more, and we're allowed to change our opinion, we're allowed to change our thoughts, that's totally fine. I think it goes up in the rafters. Now, what does he do for – go ahead.
Sorry. I'm laughing to myself. If JR doesn't get his jersey retired, he just gets the shorts put up and then they hung. So it's like he's shirtless up there.
Yeah, I think that would be something like that. Be something – that would be so JR. Great. It's not necessarily retiring his jersey, but commemorating him and what he meant in those iconic moments after the championship.
I still don't think he put a shirt on after that championship.
I don't think so either. But Kevin Love's going to put a different shirt on. He's headed to Miami. He didn't do it the same way LeBron did, but he's still headed to Miami. Another Cavalier going to Miami. What does that mean to do we care? Do the Cavs, do we think they even cared when they worked on this buyout? We'll talk about that next, right here on the Voice of the Land of the Big Play Network.
Whether you're looking to hire new talent or start a new career, Vector Technical has you covered. Vector Technical is a 28-year-old staffing firm that has helped thousands of job seekers advance in their career with reputable partners throughout Northeastern Ohio. Vector Technical is more than just a temp agency. With an above-average hire-in rate of 1 in 4 candidates, Vector works hard to connect the right person with the right opportunity the first time. Vector Technical hires for skilled manufacturing and light industrial work and is sure to have a career that you've been looking for. To learn more, visit our website at www.vectortechnicalinc.com.
And welcome back to the Voice of the Land right here on the Big Play Network. As we just mentioned, we are brought to you by Vector Technical to get the right person in the right job the first time, and of course, partner with LPD Productions. I am Kevin Arnold. He is always positive. Jay Audio. Peter Telep, our producer extraordinaire, is along as well. We were talking about Kevin Love and kind of looking at the retrospect of his time here in Cleveland. Well, it has come to an end, and reports, especially from Adrian Wojnarowski, one of the 2 best insiders in all of NBA coverage, works for ESPN, mentioning today that he was told, and a lot of other people confirming, I think even Tristan Thompson said that Kevin Love told him, or one of his people told him, he was signing with the Miami Heat after talking with the Sixers as well. So he takes his talents to South Beach just announcing it in a little bit of a different way. Jay, I don't think this is something we have to spend a lot of time on. We don't anyways. We're doing a shorter show, but I think even shorter than what we just did with his time here in Cleveland. Do you care? Do you think that is going to be a factor, especially if the Cavs face off against him? Is he someone we have to look at as enemy number one or something like that because he played here and now he's helping another team that we have to face in the playoffs?
I think one, if they went against him, they knew how to exploit him on defense big time. They would probably attack him. And I don't know. There's weird, like, I just don't see him as a big threat to us anymore. It's the same reason why I'm not too upset that he's leaving. I think he's at the end of his road of his career. I hope I'm wrong. I hope he resurrects his career and gets back on track and finds a role in the league because he clearly just enjoys playing basketball. Like, he loves the game. So that's why I'm not mad that he's leaving or wanted to leave because, like you said, he just wants to play. And he's just not going to have that role with us anymore because that's kind of Dean Wade's role now. And he's a younger, quicker version of Kevin Love.
And I'm not going to be surprised if he has an impact for the Heat. You know, the teams that wanted to sign him, they wanted to sign him because they felt like he could still play. And I know he wasn't producing. He wasn't hitting the outside three. He wasn't the only one. But the guys that are contributing in other ways, he wasn't doing anything out there on the floor. When guys go to new situations, girls go to new situations from the team that they played on before, things just aren't working out. You just kind of know that that's the end with that team, but it's not the end of your story in that sport. You know, you already get this revitalization. Well, I think that will help because he's feeling revitalized. He's had the time off, and I think he's probably feeling better from that injury. I'm sure that was impacting his ability to play on the floor. What was that?
South Beach weather will help your body feel better.
Yes, but I mean, there's also the initially when you get to Miami, I guess you kind of get used to it by knowing, hey, I'm in Miami and there's this. That's why there's always like the Miami flu, I think they call it. When teams go down there, they get beat by like 20 points. The guys were out the night before. Just go out and
party and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And Kevin Love is a veteran. He doesn't need to go out and party. He's been there, done that. He's just going to go there and enjoy that warm weather and pretty much not have to deal with the freezing cold that we haven't had so bad here, fortunately, but we know it's coming.
Yeah. So, and they have a great culture down there. Eric Spoelstra, I think, for how good of a coach he is. Pat Riley, too, yes.
It starts with Pat Riley.
It does. Now, I think this might be a hot take. I'm not trying to put a hot take out there. I think for as good of a coach that Eric Spoelstra is painted as, I think is a little overrated, but he is a really good coach, and they have a really good system down there. That's why players continue to go down there. It's been a trend since LeBron went down there. And it's not just because LeBron went down there. It's because they saw what kind of organization Pat Riley and Eric Spoelstra have set up. It's a place that people want to go. And the weather does help with that, of course. So I'm not going to be surprised if Kevin Love plays well. And if we end up playing Miami Heat, yeah, he's someone you have to look at as an opponent. You have to go beat him. He's not just your friend. But there's going to be friendships behind the scenes. That's what the NBA is anyways. And I think all these Cavaliers are going to text with Kevin Love still. He's going to text back. That kind of relationship is always going to be there. But if you're facing off against him, when that ball goes up in the air, it's Cavalier basketball time. You got to go win. Whether it's Kevin Love on the floor, Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo, I think Victor Oladipo is down there. They have a really solid group down there. They've just dealt with injuries, and that's why they're in the play-in right now. With the Nets selling off all their players, they're going to kind of stay afloat with Mikal Bridges, but I think they'll be a play-in team, and that allows teams like the Heat to move up. If you don't want to face them in the first round, you're going to have to try to catch Philly, and you can't play like you did against Philadelphia. We'll break down what the Cavs need to do a little bit more moving forward. I don't care that he went down there, and I don't think the Cavs really cared. I don't. They may have, that's why the buyout may have taken a little bit longer, just to kind of see if there was something that they could do, like maybe competitive advantage wise. I think more so the holdup was the right amount of money for both sides. Can we get this deal done? They finally did it. Now he'll sign with Miami and it'll become official. And that'll be breaking news when it actually happens, because you can't make it official until he actually clears waivers. So it won't be breaking news at that point. We know what's happening. It'll be breaking news if he goes to another team once he clears waivers. If he's,
I was actually surprised he was going to Miami.
I guess I'm not. And I'm not surprised that they were in on him, because I feel like Miami's always around every player that they feel like can give them that edge. And if he plays well, good for him. He's not done. He doesn't want to be done with his career yet. And he's probably got to go prove it to himself that he's not done. And if it doesn't work out, maybe that's where it is. And, in a couple of years, we'll see him back here celebrating stuff and being a part of the organization, because he is a Clevelander for life. And we will always remember him that way. I don't care that he went down there. I'm not a fan that he left, but hey, there's 15 guys, but not every guy's going to be able to play, and you're only going to use 8-9 guy rotation. Right now, the Cavs need to figure out a deeper rotation than they have, and that is something we need to get into at the end of this show. But before we do that, we're going to switch gears on the other side of the break to All-Star Weekend. The good, the bad, the ugly. We're just about set for draft time or selection time, as LeBron and Giannis will select their teams. There's a lot of guys hurt who might go for the MVP. Do we even like All-Star Weekend still? We will get into all of that next, right here on the Voice of the Land, the Big Play Network.
Are you struggling to hire the right talent or maybe even find the right career? Vector Technical makes it easy. Since 1992, Vector has provided Ohio employers with a reliable process for hiring and have helped thousands of job seekers advance in their careers. Vector Technical is more than just a temp agency. We invest time to get to know each client and candidate personally. Vector places people in job opportunities that they are truly excited about. Interested in learning more? Visit our website at www.vectortechnicalinc.com to see a full list of our current job opportunities and to find out what Vector Technical can offer you.
Get your gear at voiceoftheland.com/shop.
Are we back?
We're back. Sorry.
Did we come back?
We
did.
We were just looking at this thing like, is it over?
It's
So,
What's going on?
welcome back to the Voice of the Land, everybody. A little behind the curtain. Jay and I are hearing the commercials for the first time, but that was the first commercial break. We heard half of each commercial and then didn't hear the other half. So we didn't want to presume that we were back. So if we just stared at the camera, we were kind of like Ricky Bobby in the first steps. Like, I don't know what to do with my hands. Speaking of racing, shout out to Ricky Stenhouse Jr., who is your 2023 Daytona 500 winner. Actually won in overtime and on a yellow checkered flag finish. So they get to 200 laps. If you have a crash with kind of close to that 200 lap mark, you do overtime. And it's a green, white, checkered flag finish. You go 2 laps. So green is also the white flag. So it's your last, you come around, you get back to your last lap. So it goes green, white, checkered. And if there's more crashes, you keep going until NASCAR decides we're done. We're not going to keep going. We're not going to keep pushing this and having more and more cars drop out where there's not many people that have a chance to win. So they get to, I think it was the 210th lap where they restart. I'm not sure the exact amount of laps they ran, what will go down in the history books, but it was the most laps ever run in a Daytona 500. The previous record was 209. And based on positioning, when the last crash happened or in the last overtime restart, green, white, checkered, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. was far enough ahead for them to award him the Daytona 500. So he doesn't get the classic roll across the line with the checkered flag flying. It was a yellow flag and a checkered flag flying where he was somewhere else on the course. I don't know what where he was, backstretch, front stretch, one of the turns. Boy, those turns at Daytona, to see that up close would be something cool, because how steep that is walking up. When you see people each year, they do the stuff beforehand, trying to walk up those hills. Like, that is a heck of a bank down there at Daytona 500. Even flew over that going to our honeymoon to Disney back in May. We actually flew over Daytona Beach and the Daytona 500. So that was kind of cool to see from the air. As much as I hate flying and got sick from flying, it was still cool to see. So it was funny, Jay, because I went to go watch before we started the show. I went to go try to watch the last restart, and I saw the crash, and I saw them say Ricky Stenhouse. And as I got back to the chair to talk to you guys, Jana, my wife, says, "Man, did you just hear what he said on the over the radio, like on the TV?" Because she still had the sound up. I said, "No, I didn't hear it." She goes, she's like, "Stenhouse just went on his radio to his pit crew saying, 'Hey guys, I can't do a burnout. I'm out of gas.'" So these guys were on fumes. They were on their last tires, everything. But still, it still means a lot to win the Daytona 500 and kick off the NASCAR season. We tell you guys all the time, we'll talk every sport. Are we going to talk NASCAR all the time? No, but we're going to bring it up when it's relevant. It's relevant today. There's going to be other days, other races down the line that are relevant. The Indy 500 is relevant. We talk everything here. You want a place to talk about the sports that you love? We're the place to do that.
Olympics coming, I start breaking down curling, bro.
I mean, I'll break down in the summer. I'll break down swimming, equestrian, rhythmic gymnastics. I'll break that down for you as best I can. I just want to get out there with one of the little twirly things and
just not that slap crap. That is the dumbest thing I've ever seen.
Oh, those slap leagues.
It's so stupid.
Yeah, I don't know. Everybody finds a way. And now, like, there's a bunch of sports that are combining other sports together. I mean,
I'd rather combine two sports than someone just freely slap me in the face.
I mean, I feel like I've seen soccer like on every surface at this point. I've seen them, you know, they're on grass, they're on turf, they're on the beach, they're on ice.
They're virtually playing it with cars now.
Yeah, Rocket League. I mean, I've seen the actual live version of Rocket League. I've seen people doing that now.
I thought I was getting good at that game, and I went online. I suck. I'm so bad.
I think I'm good at FIFA. Better. I avoid online just so I can feel like I'm good at FIFA.
I'm like, oh, okay. I didn't even know these cars can do this. How are you doing this? They just destroyed me. I was like, all right, I'm out.
I was gonna say, I think Top Gear did the Rocket League car soccer like years ago, and it was pretty hilarious to watch though.
Yeah, there's so many different sports out there. I've even seen basketball played where it's a hoop kind of connected between two trees on old style clotheslines when you put your clothes outside to dry on the line. I've seen that where it's just like hovering over a space in the grass, and that gets intense. You're playing basketball off of trampolines. I thought they were bringing that back. I haven't seen it yet.
Obscure sport to play.
Oh man, favorite obscure sport. Do you consider ultimate frisbee an obscure sport?
I swear to God, I was going to say the same thing. Dude, yes, it is. It's so fun.
And just so everybody knows,
playing the actual ultimate frisbee, we're running up and down the thing, like kind of like football. Like, oh yeah, that's a blast.
Yeah, I know. We're not throwing the frisbee to dogs, and no, we're not throwing it into chains. That's disc golf. The frisbee to dogs, that's just athletic dogs that I love to watch too, like at halftime things, whatever.
Airbud's not allowed on our team.
I mean, Airbud's allowed. Like, dogs can play. I'm not gonna discriminate against anybody or any animal, any living being. I'm just saying that's not what we're actually doing. Like you said, Jay, it's similar to football. You have formations. You have your quarterbacks, and I put that in quotes because they're called handlers. You have your cutters that are the ones that are fast. You got to have endurance. It's like basketball in the way that you kind of have sometimes the offense looks like basketball, and you can only take a certain amount of steps before you have to throw again. And you see guys that they make the top 10 all the time on SportsCenter with the dives, the layouts, as we call them.
So my buddy, he could throw a frisbee. I remember in gym class, like so far and straight as an arrow.
Yeah.
And I was just faster than everybody else, and I was like a natural wide receiver. Dude, we would just kill everybody. You like just go deep, and everyone. I just run past everybody. Like, all right, this is mine. Maybe that's why I liked it, because we were good at it.
Yeah, I don't know why the last name is escaping me right now, but the guy that was on YouTube, Brody. Oh man, I'm gonna get a text here in a second because someone's gonna know. But he was doing all these trick shots and stuff, and now he's playing disc golf because I think he got hurt too much playing ultimate. He was really good for Florida, University of Florida at the college level, and he went to the pros, the AUDL. But that dude
disc golf is fun too, actually.
Yes. Oh yeah. Disc golf is definitely fun. Foot golf is really fun too. Soccer, I've seen soccer on a golf course. I mean, we did that on our summer trip. You know, it's just like a bigger hole. You use an actual soccer ball. I wish I had my cleats there because I would have, kicked it further. But it's basically, your par is like how many kicks it takes to get to the hole, how many they think at the course it takes to get there. So we had a lot of fun doing that. Wow, we got way off topic. But I mean,
All-Star Weekend, Kevin.
It's All-Star Weekend, and I guess maybe our ugly is that we didn't talk All-Star to start this segment like we teased. But to switch gears back to All-Star Weekend, the All-Star game is coming up. And, we'll finish before it actually gets going. I know the draft is just about to start. In the last break, we will take a look and see who's been drafted to what team. Team LeBron versus Team Giannis tonight. The over/under, and it's not like we're a betting show, but they're expecting a total of around 325 points. I understand it, but I do like that they're picking the guys right before. I don't like how soft the NBA is, and they've readjusted who they're going to pick first so that no one is actually picked last.
But someone's still picked last.
Yeah, I know. Someone still picked last, but they don't think that way because they're picking the reserves first. Since the starters are already automatically in and they're considered starter.
You're picked last in the All-Star game. Boo-hoo-hoo.
Yeah.
Dude, Adam Silver, please with that crap. As far as I'm concerned, I'd want to be picked last and be like, oh, you want to pick me last? I'm going to show you, and I'm going to dump 45 on your non-defense playing asses.
So dude, I'm an NBA. You're telling me I'm an NBA All-Star.
Yeah.
I get to play for Team LeBron, but you're concerned I was picked last.
Because my feelings are going to be hurt? Dude.
No.
I'll put it this way. Remember when we went to 71 and when that bad call pissed off Donovan Mitchell, and I looked at you and I was like, he's about to go off.
Yep.
That's exactly how I'd feel if you picked me last. Would I really be mad? Nah. But I'd pull the Jordan and I'd make it use his motivation, and I'm just going to dunk on everybody.
It's funny because I've been at 2 games where Donovan Mitchell has had one of those moments. Not that he went for as many points as he did in the 71-point game, but he had that moment that motivated him to bring them back against the Bulls and score 71. I think it was against the Pacers where they were not playing well. They were playing lackadaisical, kind of like they did against the Sixers, but the Sixers just took off way too far away, and Cavs weren't at home, so they had the crowd against them. They had a crowd that lost the Super Bowl against them in that game. Didn't like how they played, whatever. They lost by 6. But in the Indiana game earlier in the year, Donovan Mitchell had this tie-up. It might have been Miles Turner or one of their guys. And I just I didn't say anything. I should have, but I looked at Jana and I was like thinking in my head, like, I don't know why. I just looked at her, but I didn't say anything. I was just like, there's a different look in his eye by going and getting that 50-50 ball and getting a tie up. And he started going off. The Cavs started coming back. So it's like, that's what you love to see about Donovan Mitchell. And that's why he's an all-star starter, because it's not just that he can go score. He can get his teammates involved. His defense, I think, is a little bit better than he's given credit for. Is it great?
Oh, his defense has been actually pretty good this year. Cool, compared at least to his time in Utah.
And that's the mindset.
The dude, I mean, he's a dog, man. He's got that kind of same mentality. It was like I told you, Kobe had it and Jordan had it. Like, you piss them off, you do something to slight them, and they're going to make you pay. Like Adam Silver with this no last pick crap. Like, dude, if your feelings are hurt because you're last picked in the All-Star game, dude, maybe you shouldn't be playing in the All-Star game. Maybe know who that offended? Probably Ben Simmons' bum ass.
Probably. I mean, the only person that should be taking the All-Star game offensively, or taking offense to it, or having any sort of I guess frustration about it, is Darius Garland. Darius Garland, we know, is an all-star. And to not even be one of the 3 medical replacements named for the team, boy, I mean, he was a snub when the reserves were announced, but I think everybody understood it because he was on that bubble. So it didn't go that way. But then 3 players, I think it was 3 from the East, that were named to the team as injury replacements, and he wasn't even listed. Boy, I hope when he watches tonight's game, he reinvigorates that frustration he felt because he went off the night after, or that same night that he wasn't announced. I hope that reinvigorates him because he's been playing pretty well, as a lot better, I think, than early on this season. I think a lot of guys were taking some time, and they're still getting to know each other. But that's the type of person that should feel frustration from it, not someone that gets picked last when they're already knowing that, hey, going down at the end of my career, when they list my accolades, it's going to be at least 1-time All-Star, or I got this additional time as an All-Star, 3-time All-Star because of that announcement in 2023 that I was an All-Star. Like, no one should be offended by being picked last. So I think that's one place that the NBA is soft and why they're losing people on All-Star weekend. The other one was the dunk contest. Last night, Mac McClung, the G Leaguer, stepped up. He was the favorite, and he acted like a favorite. And I think it was a better dunk contest. Not that the dunks were great, but there's not many more that you can do. But can you do them ferociously? Can you do them in one time? Can you make it look cooler? The reason why LeBron won a dunk contest in high school and everybody wanted him to do it in the pros wasn't that he was going to bring something new to it. He's not one of these just pro dunkers that is doing that for YouTube videos. He jumps higher, stronger. The rim rips further down when he dunks. So like you feel the impact of it.
Oh, I wish you would have did the dunk contest.
I know,
Kevin.
but that's, we're
here's my
15
point.
years past that point.
You got Kevin Garnett out here. He's like, oh, we should have the stars to be in this dunk contest. And it was like, yeah, I don't even know who this Mac dude is. Like, what's up with that? First off, the dude showed out and showed up. And Kevin Garnett, you never were in the dunk contest. Why are you saying stars should be in the dunk contest? Like, dude, I know you're not a dunker, but don't critique it if you ain't going to be in it.
Like, and LeBron kind of...
I only dunk I ever want to see from LeBron. I just want to see how far back he can dunk it from.
Yeah.
I got a feeling that dude could be like halfway between free throw line and 3-point shot.
Because he pretty much dunked from the free throw line in the game.
Yeah.
So if you gave him the kind of run up where he doesn't have to worry about a travel or anything, he can just use that power, that speed.
I just want to see it, man. One time, just not anymore because Wayne is explosive. But yeah, back then that would have been incredible to see him.
He's close, but the impact it's going to have on him is going to be a lot worse than it would have in LeBron's prime. And then when we talk about LeBron's prime versus everybody else's prime, that's a totally different time frame. But we're 15 years past that conversation, over that conversation. I don't like, the stars are kind of following his model, and it's just gotten worse and worse. That's one trend that I criticize LeBron for causing in the NBA is the stars staying away from the dunk contest. As much as he is my GOAT, I am willing to criticize him. I love Jordan. I love all the history of the NBA. If Jordan is your GOAT, great. But you got to be willing to criticize for the things that they did wrong. If you're going to stand somebody or fan someone hard, you need to be willing to explain and acknowledge the other, like some of the bad things that they did or not so great things that they did.
Because I said it on Twitter. I was like, dude, how is Garnett going to critique saying stars should be in it and not be in it? And then everyone's like, he's not a dunker. I'm like, dude can dunk. And if you had a dunk contest, you're like Kevin Garnett versus Paul George versus, I don't know, any of these stars like that, a Damian Lillard or something. Like, none of them are known for their dunking. but we want to see them go against each other.
Yeah, and the other element, though, too, is that the NBA has become a shooting league. I mean, the rules have changed, just like the rules have changed to help the passing offense in the NFL. The rules in the NBA have changed to help the shooters, and Steph Curry has helped change that for how deep guys can shoot. So the three-point contest means a lot more on Saturday night. I think what made the dunk contest good last night, it wasn't one of the absolute best, but what made it good was guys were hitting dunks on the first try, and the ones that didn't, they were out, and you quickly got to your finals. Mac McClung, you know, the way that 540, the first dunk that he had, I saw a video today of him practicing that, and like he fell on his ass doing it. So to see him complete that when the lights were brightest, when he's not even in the NBA right now, that's what the dunk contest needs. They need a star to say, not just say that stars need to be in it, but they need to be the star that maybe reverts the trend back to the stars being in it. And then, you know, some of these upstart kids like Mac McClung, who made his name in high school and in college with the highlight tapes, the highlight dunks, the practice dunks, whatever it was. Hey, they're now taking the spotlight and shining on it. Stars versus them. Who really comes out on top? Let's make it competitive again. I don't want to have one great dunk contest or good dunk contest and then go back to 5 more years where it's crap versus crap versus crap over crap over crap. And I can say that over and over and over and over again till I can't breathe no more. Because
dude, Donovan Mitchell would be good in the dunk contest.
But he's one of those stars that's following what it is. And I think he would be more into the 3-point contest. He was offered the 3-point contest. He said no because Steph wasn't in it. He wanted to compete against the best. That's where the stars are going. They want to compete against the number one shooter in Steph, so more stars step up. Dame Lillard stepped up last night. 2 consistent rounds on the 3-point contest. Congrats to him.
The best is who's the guy from New York that was in it? He did really, really bad.
Oh, Jericho Sims. That second
no,
dunk
not
was,
him either. Oh, it was
Kenyon Martin Jr.?
It's their big from the Knicks.
There's Jericho
Julius
Sims.
Randle.
Oh, Julius Randle in the 3-point contest.
So bad.
I know.
When they showed a clip of his kid, and his kid just like, oh,
yeah. And he saw his kid make that face too.
And he's like, come on, man. That was like, even though it was a bad shooting display, it was a cool moment.
Yeah. I mean, he's not Karl Anthony Towns. He's not going to repeat that as a big. That was just, boy, that was bad. What was really bad was the Celebrity All-Star Game. That's always been fun, but that was bad basketball.
I didn't watch a second of it. I seen the Miz almost win it at half-court shot, but was short.
Yeah. The Rising Stars was good. Evan Mobley looked decent in it, but I think I like that they play to a certain point total. They don't have a clock on them. I think the point total could be a little bit higher, so it's still not taking up the whole night, but I think 25 in the final. Boy, they got to that quickly. And with the 3-point shooting, I think you could make that point total a little bit higher and still not take up the whole night. So that could be adjusted there, but I like that they have teams there and a little tournament going on. So there's elements where the NBA sees that people are stepping away from what used to be their big weekend. They're trying to bring people back. I like that they're trying to listen to other people and bring people back. So, hey, the All-Star game, yeah, you're not going to see much defense at first. They'll get to the full. It's quarter by quarter. Money going to charity. I believe they still do that. Whoever wins each quarter. And then in the fourth quarter, they play to a certain point total at that point. They bring all the points together. Then they set like that limit. What is that point total? Just like they do in that, I think it's the basketball tournament where it's the $1 million thing. You see like all these old, like really good college players playing for their schools as like alumni for $1 million. They play to a certain point total. I like that element. So let's see what they got. Let's see who everybody's picking. We'll look at that in the break. But one final segment, Cavs, playoffs. Playoff series. Can they win a series or two? What do they need to do that? We'll talk about that quickly and still get out way before 8 o'clock. I promise you that. This is the Voice of the Land on the Big Play Network.
Are you looking for a career in manufacturing? Vector Technical has you covered. Vector Technical is a 28-year-old staffing firm that is partnered with some of the biggest and the best companies throughout Northeastern Ohio. The recruiters at Vector Technical will coach you through the entire job process and will help you land an opportunity that you are truly excited about. Vector does not add any additional fees and offers benefits as well as free online skills training through Penn Foster. To learn more, visit www.vectortechnicalinc.com and make sure to check out our job board to see a full list of our current opportunities and apply.
Welcome back one final time to the Voice of Land. Here this evening as Jay fixes stuff on his mantle to talk about the Cavs and the playoffs. I'm looking at NBA on TNT's Twitter, and I'm sure I will have someone shout out here in the apartment what's going on. But I've only seen videos of the captains arriving, and they've shown the starters. They've shown the reserves from the conferences, but I don't think the picks have started yet. Jana, am I right about that? Correct. She just said correct in the background for those that can't hear. And you're not going to because I got my microphone plugged in. But
she's like our unofficial stat person, isn't she?
She's the, or what do they call it? The spotter.
Yeah.
Spotter. That's
she's
really
great
what
at
it is. Yeah. And she can find anything out. Like the research that she can do and find anything is perfect. What the Cavs got to find is they got to find a way to get into a playoff series. If they're going to finally get the young tag off of them and stop talking in every post-game press conference about, well, we haven't been in these moments yet. We still got to learn what it takes to get to the playoffs and win a playoff series. Like those experiences mean a lot to us. And yes, they're right. They're cliche, but they're also right. But if people are sick and tired of hearing them say that, Jay, they're in that 4 seed right now. They dropped another game to the Sixers. So 2 games back behind them after losing that game before the All-Star break, where first half they looked like they were ready for the All-Star break. Second half, they made the push and they just they got 100 points from their starters, but only got 12 from their bench. Is it the bench that is really the biggest piece that needs to step up right now to make one of those final pushes to get back up towards the top if they can?
Yeah, if I had to say so, I'd say it was the bench needs to step up more, especially on the road. They're really bad. But I love what the Cavs are doing. I love where they're projected to be right now. They have pretty much upped the ante for what we expect from them. Like at the beginning of the year, everyone's like, we just don't want to be in the play and just get in the playoffs. Now we're fighting for 3 or 4, and we want the home court advantage. And how awesome would it be to just have a home court basketball or playoff basketball back in Cleveland? Because, I mean, the crowds down there are already awesome every regular season game, and we just know how they ramp it up during the playoffs. And I'm so excited. I cannot wait to see what they do in the playoffs. I'm enjoying the growth of this team, the ups and downs. They've just been fun to watch. Like, one thing I love is there's no drama on this team. Even like when we have Kevin Love, who wanted out, it was like a peaceful transfer. Like, all right, man, we understand. You've been great here. You've been pretty much traded 500 different times while your stint has been in Cleveland and never once really complained about it. Always been a professional. You want gone? Sure. Go ahead. We got this young guy. There's just no drama on this team. And I've really just been really enjoyable.
Giannis's first pick from the reserves is Damian Lillard from the Portland Trailblazers, who won the 3-point contest last night. That is the first pick of the night, but first pick of the reserve. So do they even get this Damian Lillard even acknowledged as the first overall pick? I don't know, because they're putting the starter second when they should be first. Whatever. Water under the bridge. Whatever. I'll keep getting text here of who picks who. But I think the main question is, where does Donovan Mitchell go? If Donovan Mitchell gets to play with LeBron James, that would be absolutely fantastic and great television to watch tonight.
It's just dumb. You know what's going to happen if that happens, don't you?
Yeah, the conversation is going to be like,
Cleveland. Dude, we all want to see it, but it's never going to happen.
Well, it's what happened back in 2014. I think the All-Star game was in New Orleans. Kyrie won the MVP. Who was on his team? LeBron James. And they were throwing Kyrie was throwing lobs to him. Everybody got this like, oh man, if LeBron decides to come back this summer, this was gonna look great. Kyrie, LeBron, both kind of coming into their own. LeBron already in his prime, Kyrie approaching his prime. Oh, like all those, it's going to happen. It's Cleveland, man.
Oh, I know what's going to happen.
It's the common.
I don't think he's coming back this time, though. I really don't. I think he's going to stay to LA until his son gets drafted by whoever he gets drafted by, and that's where he's going to go play like a year, maybe 2, and he's retiring.
Yeah, if he thinks he can hold out for his second kid, who might be a little bit better, but I haven't heard much from him. Brownie's actually been coming back on, and he's down to his final 3. He hasn't announced his college decision yet. He's playing for the youth
not
world
Ohio
team.
State, I bet.
Yeah, probably not Ohio State. He's probably going to stay out in the West Coast because that's where his dad is, and they're going to stay close so that his dad LeBron can easily travel to it. But I know Brownie's playing for Team USA, like the youth version of it, this summer, and he's the only player on that team that has not committed to a college yet. So a lot of people will be asking about that. I mean, if LeBron's kids are better than Jordan's kids, I mean, I think that's like just helps add to his legacy. That not that Jordan was a bad coach or bad dad to his kids, just like the talent pool is deeper in the James family. I don't know. That's not really that. I joke around about that, but that's not going to determine who the
because LeBron's better. Sure. That's why.
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be people saying that too.
Bring on Jordan stands.
So LeBron goes Anthony Edwards, Drew Holiday to Giannis's team as teammate, and LeBron Jaylen Brown, Celtics, right? Jaylen Brown, believe.
Yeah.
So, boy, they.
I don't know why I could not think of that.
I know my brain is fried at this
Well,
point.
you got a big day tomorrow, man.
I'm not getting into that on the show. Not getting into that right now.
Hey, it's a big show. You're one of the number 1 talk shows in this area. Congratulations, dude. You don't want to talk about it, I'll talk about it. Like, I'm really proud of you, and I know Peter is too.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. And that's why there's no drama on our show, just like there's no drama with the Cavs, and why I think that they're definitely ready for a playoff series. How they play in it, I don't know. They're going to need more bench production. And if you can find another buyout player in addition to Danny Green, there's more buyouts, and you can get someone on the wing. You need someone to hit that 3 consistently when they're wide open, because Lamar Stevens isn't giving it to you. Okoro is not hitting it consistently enough, but he's coming on with it. So to not only put Okoro in that position, if you can have Danny Green and then someone else plus Okoro, I think that makes you deeper. You get more scoring off the bench, and it makes it more difficult. Even when a team is only focusing on defending you and watching film of you in a playoff series, it makes it more difficult to figure out, well, how the heck do we stop this?
I think these guards can take it to another level myself, because you don't really see like Mitchell and Garland having insane nights at the same time. It's usually like he'll have 40, the other one will have 20. They have the capability of those guys putting 30 each, like easily.
And I think that'll come as they get more chemistry, though. I think you'll see some bigger nights over the next couple of seasons. Right now, it's just about finishing games, getting more production everywhere else, not relying on just one guy like we did when LeBron's first time here, building an actual team, playing as a team as they know how to do. And Bickerstaff has created that culture here. And learning through these experiences.
What do you grade Bickerstaff so far this year as a coach?
Probably a B+, because there's been a couple games I think he's helped let slip away. But the players have done
B+, or B+, A-.
Yeah, it's semantics at that point. So
6 and 1, half dozen another.
We'll see. Let's see what kind of energy they come out with once they get back from the All-Star break. And we'll talk about that next week. I might try to get a crunch player on here as well, because I know that they suffered a rough one yesterday up in state up north, but still playing a great season.
When they talk to us, they go on winning streaks.
Yes, they do. So, they're going to play on Saturday. So then, hey, they win that game and they need a little bit more motivation. We'll bring a player on and help them finish the regular season strong. More players going. I guess Giannis tried to pick a starter before the reserves were all picked, and he's getting roasted. But
cheat already, man.
He's trying to cheat already. He knows LeBron's teams just win the All-Star game every single time. But hey, It's all-star time. We're going to go watch the game. Hopefully you guys enjoy the game as well. Hopefully
new
you're enjoying the
record
draft already.
show.
Record show, 4 minutes early. It probably we wanted it to be a little bit earlier than that. It's totally fine. Natural conversations. May not have agreed all the time, but hey, had a lot of fun. Next week, we'll be back in studio. More people join the conversation on Twitter, on Facebook. Tune into the show. Listen to it back on Google, Spotify, Apple. Watch it back on social media, on YouTube. And hey, as we always say, thank you guys so much for listening. I am Kevin Arnold, reminding all of you sports fans, don't let anyone ever tell you it's just a game. We truly love you all, 3,000, especially as the MCU picks back up. We'll talk about that when we actually can, but we'll do that off air. Jay?
Don't talk about it. Be about it.
That's absolutely right. And live life, all gas, no breaks. Thank you to Peter Tellep, our producer extraordinaire. Jacob back in studio, helping him make sure the sound was all right. And thank you to everyone that's tuned in. We'll see you next week right here on the Voice of the Land on the Big Play Network.